The 5th anniversary of my relationship with Pei Yang. I saw the photos sent by a strange girl on his phone. Yangsheng, I had a great time last night. I feel a little unwell now. Can you come and keep me company? The note is that Yang Yang is my favorite. In the photo, 2 people are lying on the bed, surrounded by messy clothes. I replied to her, okay. That night, Pei Yangsheng left me, put on his coat and rushed out without even looking at the candlelight dinner I had prepared. I overturned the dining table, started a fire, and booked a flight out of here. 3 years later, Pei Yangsheng broke into my engagement party, trembling all over, with red eyes. She asked me, Sang WN, do you really not want me anymore? Pei Yangsheng came in with a cold look on his face, and I helped him take off his coat and hang it up. The phone in my pocket vibrated twice, and I opened it. Yangsheng, I had a great time last night. I feel a little unwell now. Can you come and keep me company? The accompanying picture was a photo of 2 people lying on the bed with clothes scattered all over the floor. I was stunned, glancing at the note. My favorite Yang Yang. The person on the other side is still making cute and coquettish expressions. I narrowed my eyes, raised my eyebrows, and typed, okay. It was like the system had crashed, and there were no more messages from the other side. Pei Yangsheng took off his tie, leaving only the white lining of his well-tailored suit. 2 buttons were undone, revealing the muscle lines clearly, and a kiss mark faintly visible near the collarbone. What's wrong? Come over and eat. He looked at the anniversary candlelight dinner I had prepared, and a gentle smile appeared in his eyes. Just as he bent down to kiss me, I handed him the phone face up. He frowned and turned off his phone, trying to pull me hard. I avoided his hand. My beloved Yang Yang. The person in front of me lowered his eyes and looked at me calmly. She sent you guys a picture from last night and said she wasn't feeling well. Pei Yangsheng seemed to be stimulated by something. He strode past me, quickly put on his coat, and rushed out without looking back. He was there on our 5th anniversary, at the candlelight dinner I had prepared, dropped me and ran to another girl, because the girl needed him. The girl's name is Song Huayang, and I was introduced to her by our elders. We met 3 months ago and confirmed our relationship a month ago. She is delicate, romantic, and likes to talk to him about music and art. He pampered her at the top of his heart and erased my existence and all traces. It was also at that time that Pei Yangsheng often did not go home for various reasons. Sometimes he would come home late at night, hug me from behind, and whisper darling into my neck. On our anniversary, I finished work early and prepared a big meal in an attempt to repair our broken relationship, but he shattered all my fantasies. The deer at night was nothing more than a hint of guilt after he came back to his senses. I sneered in my heart. The entire dining table was overturned, and the floor was a mess. Assistant Chow Chow sent me a message. Boss Sang. Boss Pei seems to be in love. He just asked me and Chang Yang to sort out our work. He has to take care of his girlfriend these 2 days and may be away often. Pei Yangsheng and I have never made our relationship public. We always handle business matters impartially and show no mercy to each other. No one could have imagined that we would hug each other and whisper in each other's ears when we got home. And today, Pei Yangsheng said in person that he had to take care of his girlfriend and asked the 2 assistants to sort out their work. It is said that when he called, the girl said gently, I'm so sorry. I'll treat you to milk tea from now on. Thank you for your help. In the adult world, many things do not need to be explained. I don't know how Pei Yangsheng explained it. All we know is that she asked Pei Yangsheng to pull her into the company group. As soon as she arrived, she established her authority in the group, saying people should not seduce other people's boyfriends. Chow Chow complained to me. Boss Sang, I think she is sick. It's the end of the month and everyone is busy. Who would rush to be a mistress? At this time, Song Huayang sent a message in the company group again. Seducing someone else's boyfriend is a lowly act. Pei Yangsheng didn't stop him. I took out the violin that I hadn't touched for a long time from the cabinet and played Emmanuel in the dim moonlight, Broken Love. After the song was over, I leaned against the wall. In this huge room, every corner bears traces of Pei Yangsheng and I's life, but at this moment, it seemed extremely empty. I lit the curtains and watched everything here being engulfed by the flames, smiling with satisfaction. A heat wave hit me in the face. I picked up the violin, turned around, slammed the door, and called my brother. If you're in any trouble, tell me. I gave her a genuine smile. Brother, do me a favor and invest in Wansheng Group. Pei Yangsheng and I met while studying abroad. His family had arranged everything for him. But he just wouldn't listen and kept clamoring to start a business and get rich. I was his chosen partner, because I had never told him about my family's situation. He thought we were about the same and not very wealthy. I once asked why I was chosen. The most important thing for starting a business is capital. He sat in the library and told me he loved me in the early summer sunshine. His eyes were filled with smiles and he was extremely serious. I asked him, what else? You never fail at anything you want to do. He said that I was ambitious, strong in spirit and ability, and he admired and needed a partner like me. So we returned to our country and started from scratch. Later, as time went by, his mentality changed. He doesn't need a capable partner. What he wants is a girlfriend who will stay around him all day long, and Song Huayang happens to be this kind of little white flower. He always knew what he wanted. In fact, we are very similar. In order to achieve a set goal, we will use all means to achieve it. We have a very good understanding in the business world and never miss any opportunity. Wansheng Group has emerged from nowhere and has taken root in the hearts of every competitor. When it came to our first big order, we were in a fancy restaurant looking down on everything below us. There were tiny stars reflected in Pei Yansheng's eyes. Wanwan, we are so awesome. I raised my champagne glass to clink with him. It will be even better in the future. For this order, he and I worked around the clock for several days and nights. I gently stroked the dark circles under his eyes. But he held me in his arms and his warm breath fell on my neck. Alcohol fuels emotions. Wanwan, be my girlfriend. I said yes. That day was the day we got engaged. Love and tenderness are immersed in fine wine and evening breeze. I moved to another house, when Pei Yangsheng and I started from scratch. I left myself a way out. I couldn't sleep well after getting familiar with the scent of another person. When I took the elevator to the top floor of the company, I happened to meet Pei Yangsheng. I pretended not to see him and walked past him towards the office. Pei Yangsheng held my hand. Yangsheng, you're walking too fast. Song Huayang ran over and pulled Pei Yangsheng away unnoticeably. Hello, I'm Song Huayang, Yansheng's new secretary and his girlfriend. We're getting engaged soon. She bit her girlfriend an engagement hard. It was obvious that he guessed our relationship from Pei Yansheng's actions. I said politely, hello, then. I didn't say anything else and just walked away. Song Huayang followed me closely. Sang WN, right. I heard from the people in the company that you are Yang Sheng's subordinate, and you are very capable. She changed the subject and said, however, we women are definitely not as capable as men at work. There are many things that you don't need to do yourself, and it's not good to get too close to men. If you're not careful, you might provoke those who have girlfriends. If you get caught, it won't be good. After she said that, she went to see Pei Yangsheng. Pei Yangsheng did not let her down. He put his arm around her shoulders and chuckled. You are right. I didn't want to pay attention to Song Huayan's childish provocation. Before I met Pei Yangsheng, I was surrounded by rich young ladies and gentlemen, and I didn't even look down on these tricks. I am Pei Yansheng's partner. You can call me Mr. Sang. If you can't read, you should pack up and go home as soon as possible. I pushed Song Huayang away to avoid being an eyesore. Song Huayang screamed. This action angered Pei Yangsheng. He dragged me into the tea room and restrained me with his arms. Boss Pei, what do you mean? It's despicable for a married man to harass a single woman. I deliberately emphasized the word despicable. That's what Song Huayang said to me. He lowered his head, with the tip of his pen very close to me, and his eyes wandered over me. You made the candlelight dinner yourself. I never asked you to do it. I raised my hand and slapped him. You felt unsatisfied and hit him on the other side of the face. He stood up and looked at me with a strange and calm gaze. The company has recently negotiated with the jeweler, and it belongs to you. I will compensate you for the original price of your things that you burned in the villa. Don't cause any more trouble. I, Sang WN, had lived smoothly for 25 years, but ended up failing here. When Song Huayang came over, I was pouring hot tea on Pei Yangsheng. She rushed over screaming and raised her hands to hit me. I dropped the teacup and raised my hand to slap her, Pei Yangxing was coming to arrest me. His tone was angry. Sang WN, Yang Yang is not someone you can touch. My movements were restricted, so I raised my foot and kicked his calf. Pei Yangxing's legs went limp and he fell on Song Hua Yang. She was so angry that her face turned red. Why are you pretending? Everything you have now was given by Yangxing. Otherwise how could a woman get to where she is today? Now, pack up and leave. You don't have that power. Song Hua Yang was fearless. I own 32% of the shares. You caused trouble in the company and even tried to hit me. I'm lucky I didn't make you disappear. Song Hua Yang was frightened, but still continued to provoke me. I am Yanxing's secretary and girlfriend. No one can fire me without his consent. If you attack Yangxing in the company, you should be the one to leave. There were already quite a few people gathered at the door of the tea room. Okay, I took out the equity transfer agreement, which clearly stated that all my shares would be transferred to Sang Chuan. Pei Yangxing probably didn't expect that I had already transferred the shares, and his expression was blank. Song Hua Yang couldn't hide her joyful expression. Now, Mr. Sang Chuan holds 35% of the shares and has a veto power. I won't argue with you. Sang Chuan is my brother. That money will eventually come back to me. Just then, someone shouted, Boss Pei and his girlfriend are on the hot search list. I turned the phone in my hand, thinking that Chow Chow could get things done quickly. The news that the president of Wanxing Group cheated on his wife on their anniversary and brought his mistress to force her out has topped the front page of Weibo. With a big explosive at the end, I handed the equity transfer agreement to my brother who came hurriedly. I just nodded politely the whole time and didn't say a word to him. In the conference room, Song Hua Yang nervously tugged at Pei Yangxing's sleeve, silently expressing her panic. Although the scandal involving the president of Wanxing Group will not cause serious damage to the company's vitality, its stock price will definitely fall. My brother crossed his hands on the conference table and said lazily, Boss Pei, as the president of Sang Group, I bought into Wanxing to give you face. Why can't I make any money on the first day? The Wanxing Group was established only 5 years ago, so it cannot compare to my family, which has been in business for 3 generations. Pei Yangxing knew nothing about my family's situation except me. He doesn't know that Sang Chuan is my brother. I leaned back in my chair and said calmly, Boss Pei had better think of a solution soon. If things get out of hand, WN Sheng and Boss Sang will suffer even more. In the silence, Song Hua Yang sat in Pei Yangxing's arms and sobbed quietly. Yangxing, I'm so scared, I don't know. Pei Yangxing coaxed her softly and patted her back gently. Then he turned and looked at me. His eyes were cold. You did it, I nodded. Congratulations to Mr. Pei for marrying his beautiful wife. I specially sent him a great gift. He sneered and tapped his knuckles on the table. Sang WN, you are so capable that you even ignored the stocks of Wanxing Group, which you founded with your own hands. I propped my chin up and looked at him calmly. Pei Yangxing, you take yourself and Wanxing too seriously. If I can start Wanxing from scratch, I can start countless others. My funds and connections are beyond your imagination, and you only have the late voice. Pei Yangxing took 2 deep breaths and asked, how much money do you want to stop making trouble? I crossed my legs and said, I want all the orders that the group is negotiating, anything over 30 million. 500 million. Sang WN, you are quite arrogant. He narrowed his eyes and stared at me intently. I looked up at him and said, 500 million is not expensive to buy out Mr. Pei's gossip. Receiving my signal, my brother shot a sharp look at Pei Yangxing and said, Boss Pei, I don't care what you are talking about, I won't do business that loses money. Pei Yangxing was silent for a long time. Boss Sang, you have also seen that there are some conflicts within the company. My brother interrupted him. I don't care about that. I just want money. If the group can't make money, my veto power will be useful. I held up a finger and waved it back and forth. 500 million, not a cent less. Pei Yangxing was completely silent. Sang WN, you did this on purpose, teaming up with the men outside to set a trap for me. Yeah, so what? What can you do? I smile brightly. Pei Yangxing took out his cell phone and instructed his assistant Chang Yang with gritted teeth. A minute later, the information of the 7 lists that Wanxing was discussing was respectfully placed in front of me. I put it away, stood up, and left without any regrets. Pei Yangsheng said in a deep voice behind me, "My mother and you don't get along well. She likes Yang Yang very much." Sang WN. "I can give you everything except marriage." I hurried back and slapped him again. Then he gave him the middle finger. My brother's face darkened and he gave Pei Yangchuan an ultimatum. I smiled at him as I turned around. I was really disgusted by Pei Yangsheng and Song Huayang today. After I got home, I took good care of my skin and had a good nap. When I woke up in the afternoon, I received news from my aunt. He said I hadn't been there for a long time and wanted me to go over and have a meal. Aunt's house. "Do you need me to accompany you?" My brother frowned, clearly disapproving. In her early years, my aunt fell in love with a poor boy. She broke off relations with her family for him and married into an ordinary family in Qingcheng. I visit her occasionally. "No need, if my aunt sees you, she might get sick again. She can't stand the fright. I can go by myself." The person who opened the door for me was my nominal uncle. "The eye sockets are sunken and there is no energy in the body. Wanwan is here. Come in quickly. I haven't seen you for a long time." I put down the fruit in my hand and put on my signature smile. At the dinner table, the dishes my aunt picked for me piled up into a small mountain in my bowl. "Wanwan, your cousin will be 18 next month. His grades are not very good. Let him join your company after graduation." Although I had expected it, I still felt a little uncomfortable when I heard it. "We broke up." "Why did you break up? You and Mr. Pei founded the company together many years ago. Did you make him angry?" My aunt put down her chopsticks and said to me earnestly, "Xiao Pei is a very good kid. You should talk to him and apologize. He will forgive you." She concluded it was my fault without even asking me. I put down my chopsticks heavily, making a clang sound. As the eldest daughter of the Sang family, should I go and apologize to Pei Yangsheng? Sang's market value is over 100 billion. I have been assisting in the company's affairs since I was young, and Pei Yangsheng has only been in the business world for 5 years. When I was young, I had high aspirations and wanted to prove my ability, but that doesn't mean Pei Yangsheng can really stand shoulder to shoulder with me. If I can create one late voice, I can create thousands of late voices. I brought in 70% of the funds. I manage so many more company affairs than he does. "You want me to beg Pei Yangsheng?" "Aunt, are you kidding me?" My aunt was frightened and burst into tears. "Wanwan, men are the masters of this world after all. You should listen to your aunt. Would she lie to you?" My uncle lent his shoulder to my aunt at the right time, giving her a place to lean on. "Men are the head of the family." I pressed my temple with a headache. "I can't believe you are my aunt. My grandfather started his business and raised you since you were a child. Your vision and knowledge have been sucked away by him." I pointed at the man next to my aunt, feeling helpless and tired. Ever since I can remember, aunt has always been synonymous with gentleness and dignity. Whenever I did something wrong and was scolded by my father, she would always gently hold my hand and patiently tell me stories. Sometimes it's the little bear who stole the honey, sometimes it's the little rabbit who pulled the wrong carrot. The protagonists of these stories will eventually realize their mistakes and bring their own gifts to compensate the bees and rabbits next time. I know this is her unique way of comforting herself. It won't hurt my self-esteem. My aunt has always been like this. The sensible eldest daughter in the family. Everything changed after she brought home a skinny man. She started quarreling with her grandfather, getting angry with her parents, and finally smashed a lot of things in the house and ran away from home. Then came the news of her marriage. But she would still come back to see me secretly, and every time she would bring beautiful gifts. That year, I was 5 years old. I couldn't help but run out to play out of curiosity. And in the middle of the road I saw a cement tanker coming towards me. Wanwan. The cement tanker in front of me looked like a scourge, but I saw my aunt flying in front of me. The white clothes were stained with blood. I have complicated feelings towards my aunt, angry and sighing, sad and pitiful. Boss sang, "Are you really leaving? You have always cared more about the company's affairs than Boss Pei. Chow Chow has always followed me and always spoken up for me. It's obviously not your fault." I stirred the coffee in my hand and put a sugar cube in it. I won't do business at a loss. Whether in business or in love, sunk costs do not factor into major decisions. Chow Chow sighed and complained to me about the company. After Pei Yangxing arranged Song Huiyang to be his secretary, she kept an eye on the girls in the company all day long. No matter married or unmarried, no one can escape her investigation and questioning. It is said that a series of institutional norms have been formulated to regulate female employees, making the company a chaotic place. However, the plan was rejected by the new shareholder after less than a day of implementation. The new shareholder scolded Song Huiyang and fired her directly. Pei Yangxing was worried about the loss of several important orders and had no energy to take care of her these days. Boss Sang, let me tell you, this new shareholder is also named Sang. Maybe he is a relative of yours. This is also indirectly helping you vent your anger. I took a sip of my coffee. Pei Yangxing favored Song Huiyang to that extent that he could let her suffer injustice right under his nose. It seems that the 500 million order really hit him hard. I leaned close to Cao Cao and hinted to her to check out the Sang family in Shenzhen and make sure Pei Yangxing saw it. Cao Cao opened his mouth wide. Boss Sang, I made a hushed gesture to her. The day we left Qingcheng, the dark clouds that had been there for several days completely dissipated. A rare good weather. My aunt still advised me on the phone to apologize to Pei Yangxing so that she could arrange for her son to join the company. Before boarding the plane, I received a call from Pei Ying. I have met Pei Yangxing's younger brother several times. This does not surprise me at all. Sister-in-law, why are you leaving? I called my brother, who is here in Magpie Pavilion. We are all family. If there is a misunderstanding between you, just talk it out. I adjusted my sunglasses and hung up the phone. In the private room, Pei Yangxing opened my photo on his mobile phone, and next to him was the information of the Sang group. His brows were gloomy and his face looked like a storm was about to come. Then he suddenly laughed. The eldest daughter of the Sang group. No wonder she left so easily. Wanxing group was just a test run for her. Pei Ying called again, and only a mechanical voice was heard on the other end of the line. Brother, I can't get through. Pei Yangxing exhaled heavily and swept all the drinks on the table to the ground. For a moment, no one in the room dared to speak. He thought that with Pei Ying as a go-between, Sang Wn would at least say a few words no matter how incompetent she was. Okay. As expected of the eldest daughter of the Sang family, she is so arrogant. He was very good to her. He admitted that he noticed Sang Wn at first because she was beautiful. No, it should be extremely beautiful. But later I was attracted by her ambition and ability. She said she didn't want to follow the path arranged by her family and wanted to go out and explore on her own. He thought she was from an ordinary family and would be forced to get married soon, so he invited her to join him. Started from scratch, founded Wanxing, played one business game after another, brought her into the upper class of Qingcheng, and introduced her to his brother and friends. If you ask yourself, he gave her everything, so even if Song Huiyang was by his side, she would not leave. Because Sang Wn only has him. Brother, go get your sister-in-law back. She is the eldest daughter of the Sang family, but she has been with you for 5 years, which means she is deeply in love with you. If you are a little sincere, she will definitely come back. Pei Ying picked up the information about the Sang group and narrowed his eyes. Pei Yangxing leaned on the sofa, the cold light of his cell phone reflecting his gloomy brows. Do you really think that I will beg her to come back just because I am the eldest daughter of the Sang family? How many rich daughters are there in Qingcheng? You are just playing around. What do you think of yourself? Although he said he didn't care. He kicked the table in annoyance. It is said that those who participate in the game are confused, while those who are not involved can see clearly. Pei Yangxing asked his assistant Chang Yang to report to Sang Wn about Song Huiyan's series of arrogant behaviors, and tried several times to get more news about Sang Wn through Sang Chuan. Pei Ying reminded him that if she likes him 3 times, he should get her back, but Pei Yang just ignored it. Sang Wn is a woman who started her own business independently, without the support of the Sang family. If it weren't for him, she might have slept with several old men. He is now the president of a listed company and is more than qualified to be a match for a rich lady. Doesn't Sang Wn like him? He could convince his mother to let her in. She left so cleanly and neatly, and made him bow his head. Why? I returned to Shenzhen. My brother is with me, in the living room. My dad looked up from the newspaper and said slowly, I'm back. I handed him a stack of documents and said, Dad, here is a bill for 500 million. Take it to Sang's tomorrow. My dad held his eyes and said, You are not someone who will suffer any loss. The shares are with me, and the money belongs to my sister. My brother leaned against the door and spoke loudly. After staying at home for 2 days, I boarded a plane to go abroad. After landing in Switzerland, I saw the endless snow-capped mountains of the Alps. I once passed by here on a business trip with Pei Yangxing, but due to lack of time, I didn't go to see it with my own eyes. In the small town at the foot of the mountain, friends from all over the world gathered together. We have different identities and different lives, but we stand together at the foot of the Alps. The mountain top rises high into the clouds, majestic and magnificent. The mountains have 4 seasons. From lush green trees to white snow, I wonder whose ideals and life they encompass. In the evening, the night falls and the sky is filled with stars. The mountain guide said that it has been raining for the past few days, but tomorrow will be a good day, perfect for mountain climbing. We came at the right time. Everyone was laughing and making a fuss. As soon as the sun rose, we packed up and set off. We made our way to the ridge and took a short break here. So beautiful, someone cheered. There is a vast expanse of white in front of me, but when I look up I see the beautiful Swiss mountains. The sun and the moon hang in the same sky, like a dream. Dinner time. The person next to him was eating a sandwich and telling his romantic love story under the warm yellow light. Everyone in the team was talking about their dreams or making fun of other people's embarrassing moments. Suddenly someone asked me, "Why don't you speak?" I was stunned for a moment. In the past, I might have said that I wanted to walk hand in hand with Pei Yangxing. I hope Wansheng Group will prosper, or maybe my aunt could be more sober. But now, forget it. In the past, my life was smooth, proud and bright. I was born free and rebellious. Pei Yangxing appeared when I was 20 years old and wanted to break away from my family and start my own career. That year, we graduated together, so we returned to Qingcheng to start a business. I didn't tell him about my family because I hoped that we could rely on our own strength instead of relying on the name of the Sang family. At that time, I was not wrong about him. We have sought investment and run business time and time again, and we have also experienced failure and self-doubt. He would always stand behind me, cheering me up over and over again, and illuminating the way forward with his faint light. But in the end, he destroyed everything with his own hands. When did it change? I have no idea. In the cold wind and snow, I felt the belated heartache. Everyone was still waiting for me to speak, so I could only give an apologetic smile. The cold wind, carrying ice chips, blew towards my face desperately. It was as if to wash away the stains on me. I am the eldest daughter of the Sang family. I am only 25 years old this year, and I control the entire Sang family. What is Pei Yangxing? After resting, continue climbing. Very close to the top of the mountain, an accident occurred. As the strong wind howled, someone shouted, "It's an avalanche." For a moment, my ears were filled with countless blame and abuse. The guide lowered his voice and said hurriedly, "There is a protruding rock in front of the left. Everyone follow me." There was no time to react, and everyone followed their guide and rushed forward with all their might. At the last moment he hid under a rock. The rumbling sound filled my eardrums. In times of life and death crisis, the complaints and abuse turned into mutual encouragement. They will all be alive. I have never failed in my career as a guide. How can I let you guys do that? We tied the traction ropes together tightly. Because of the avalanche, we became people who shared the same suffering. At midnight, we reached the top of the mountain. I was standing on the top of the majestic Alps, gazing at the endless starry sky. With the newly acquainted friend, I put an end to the past. On the day of the engagement party, Song Huiyang dressed up beautifully. She was wearing a light purple dress and stood obediently beside Pei Yangxing. He was a rising star in Qingqing's business community, and all the guests he invited to his banquet were well-known and influential figures. As the drinks flowed, he avoided the crowd who came to chat with him and drank alone in depression. With the appearance of the two elders, the engagement party reached its climax. People congratulated one after another, saying nice things. Pei Yangxing drank a lot of wine and was in a trance when he looked at Song Huiyang in a purple dress. Song Huiyang went to help him. Yangsheng, you drank too much. Pei Yangsheng shook his head and said drunkenly, Wanwan, you look beautiful in purple. When Chow Chow told me this, I was having a blast on the other side of the ocean. When he found out that Pei Yangsheng had messed up the engagement party and got himself drunk, he couldn't help but smile. Chow Chow was still talking on the phone. Boss sang, you don't know how chaotic the scene was. The faces of the two elders were livid. If it wasn't an engagement party, I would have thought it was a funeral. I took the champagne from the waiter. Be careful not to get beaten. How can they care about me? She paused for a moment. Boss sang, I didn't know you and Boss Gu were together. He actually abandoned you for Song Hua Yang. I feel like I was kicked in the head by a donkey. Even if you are not the eldest daughter of the Sang family, you have been with him all the way. I took a sip of wine. When a man is down and out, he hopes that a woman will fight with him. But when he becomes capable, he starts to be wary of her. What they want is always a gentle and well-behaved little woman. Pei Yangsheng doesn't have that much affection for me. He knew what he wanted from the beginning to the end. I remembered the message he sent me a few days ago. You are just a woman. Sang's company still belongs to Sang Chuan. Come back, only I can give you everything. I burst out laughing. As expected of a man from the bottom of society, he firmly believed deep down that only his son could take charge of the family business. He had no idea how a real wealthy family would train their daughters. There has always been a place for me in the Sang group. Qianqian instructed a few people to take care of Pei Yangsheng, and I joined in the carnival again. Private hospital. Pei Yangsheng was wrapped in bandages all over his body, with only his eyes able to move. Chang Yang reported his work conscientiously. Ever since Pei Yangsheng spoke wildly and angrily at the engagement party last night, he left the guests behind and staggered off to look for someone. Everyone knew who to look for, unexpectedly. I was beaten by several people who looked like bodyguards not long after I walked away. When Chang Yang arrived, he was so scared that he broke out in a cold sweat. After beating the man, the bodyguards walked away in a swagger. When I checked the surveillance footage afterwards, I found that there was a blind spot there, and the only surveillance footage that could capture a bit of the clothing had been deleted. It's easy to guess who did it. He tried his best to control himself from stuttering. Boss sang. Now, in the United States, she met a lot of new friends and had quite a few people around her. Pei Yangsheng's pupils trembled and his eyes were about to burst. Impossible. She has always liked me, and it has to be me. He tried his best to turn over and get out of bed, but his hands and feet were bound by the restraints and he could not move at all. He could only squirm on the bed. Chang Yang advised earnestly, Boss Pei, you have a girlfriend, get out of here. I want to go find her. Pei Yangsheng seemed to be crazy and actually broke free from the restraints. Blood immediately appeared on the white bandage. The doctors and nurses immediately brought a few more restraints. Mrs. Pei came hurriedly and slapped him angrily. You are bewitched by her. I knew she was a jinx. Looking at the injuries all over your body, you must have been beaten by someone hired by her. And Hua Yang was crying because she was so angry. You must come with me to the Song family to apologize. Hearing Mrs. Pei's words, the light in Pei Yangsheng's eyes gradually dimmed, but she kept repeating, it's impossible. She said she only loved me. The nurse added 3 restraints, but Pei Yangsheng still struggled violently, clamoring to see Sang Wn. Mrs. Pei was angry and anxious, so she had someone inject him with a sedative. She has met Sang Wn. She is indeed beautiful, but she is not obedient and has great ambitions. How can such a woman be a virtuous wife? Later, when it was discovered that Sang Wn was the eldest daughter of the Sang family, she became even more dissatisfied. She's hard to control in the first place, and she's the daughter of a wealthy family. There's no way she would agree to what's going on between them. Mom, I must see her in person. Mrs. Pei kept dragging and dragging, and when she was exhausted, something was delivered. The items were sent directly to a private hospital. And the signature was very familiar to Pei Yangsheng. Sang Wn didn't send much, a few photos and some documents. In the photos, Sang Wn is standing on the banks of the Seine, climbing to the top of the Alps, or admiring the sunrise over Manhattan. Each one is bright and bold. That was Sang Wn, whom he hadn't seen for a long time. The document contained the news that Sang WN was appointed as the vice president of Sang Group and founded a new brand, Shijanju. There is a sentence on the back. Originally, I was planning to marry you in 3 years. I am confident that Wansheng will be among the best in the world by then. By then, Sangs will be integrated with Wansheng, and you will get much more than you have now. After just a few words, Pei Yangsheng broke down in tears. I don't know if it's because he didn't marry Sang Wan, or if he regrets letting go of such a huge supporter of the Sang family. Today is Pei Yangsheng's birthday. On this special day, Sang Wan gave him an unforgettable gift. Pei Yangsheng seemed to be struck by lightning, and he instantly lost his vitality. He thought of Sang Wan every day he was in the hospital. They worked together for 5 years. Everything about Sang Wan has been deeply engraved in his bones. They have the same thoughts and a great understanding of each other. And they are a perfect match. He was in deep trouble, but he couldn't even realize it. Song Hwayen's eyes are full of him, and she is suitable to be a gentle and virtuous little woman. But what he wants is still Sang Wan. No one can compare to Sang Wan. She is beautiful, ambitious, capable, able to share the hardships with him, and behind her is the entire Sang family. Song Huayang has none of these. He should have had a successful career and love life. But he turned around and got engaged to someone else. Pei Yangsheng's heart felt like it was being squeezed by a big hand and he could hardly breathe. There was a dull pain in my chest and a few sorrowful sobs escaped from my throat. He struggled to get up from the bed, but fell heavily to the ground. The bodyguards sent by Sang Wan were extremely ruthless. Pei Ying came in and saw this scene. I took 2 deep breaths, but still couldn't help it. Brother, I told you to get Sang Wan back. What were you doing then? She is the eldest daughter of the Sang family. Do you know how much help a Sang family member can bring to us? My career is flourishing right now. Why are you pretending to be affectionate? Pei Yangsheng sat on the ground with empty eyes. Suddenly he became excited. Yes, I want to go find her. Pei Ying helped him up and threw him onto the bed. How are you going to find him in this state? Are you going to find him in your dreams? Pei Yangsheng trembled as he looked for his cell phone, wanting to call the best orthopedic surgeon from abroad, but the moment I touched the phone, I was on the verge of collapse. Above is an unsent text message. The doctor you are looking for will be in Australia within a month, so don't waste your time. Don't even think about checking the person. Do you think the Sang family can't protect a messenger? He frowned and was about to make a phone call. It turned out that the calling card had been removed. It's the postman who delivers the package. Pei Yangsheng's blood boiled and he smashed his phone to the ground with a loud bang. Sang Wan, you are so cunning. Pei Ying glanced at the words above and snorted. She really loved you before. Song Huayang came to visit. Holding a pot of chicken soup in her hand, she couldn't afford to offend Sang Wan, but she had already broken up with Pei Yangsheng, so she was the legal engaged fiancé. What's more, Pei Yangsheng is indeed a handsome man. Her family is a nouveau riche, so she may not be able to marry someone she likes in the future. Song Huayang smiled and saw the mess in the house as soon as she entered. Pei Yangsheng seemed to be stimulated by something and suddenly jumped up. He threw whatever he caught in his hands at Song Huayang. It's you who forced her away. Go away, I don't want to see you again. A porcelain cup hit Song Huayan's head heavily. Blood flowed out instantly. And her mind went blank. Pei Ying held Pei Yangsheng down and yelled at him angrily. Are you crazy? Pei Yangsheng collapsed and shouted. Yes, I'm crazy. I've been crazy since Sang Wan left. Of course, the marriage with the Song family fell through. Mrs. Pei almost fainted from anger. Pei's father came out and scolded him angrily. Pei Yangsheng pretended to have listened, and left the hospital after he recovered. His temperament changed drastically. And he never stopped looking for Sang Wan, who was far away in Shenzhen. But he never saw her again. 3 years later, I'm on a plane in France. The jewelry brand Shijanju is thriving, and I need to personally work with the designer to select the gemstones for the jewelry to be launched in the next phase. The man next to him took out a scarf and said, "We'll be getting off the plane soon. The winter in France is very cold." I let him put his arms around me and then leaned on his shoulder. After we landed, he took my luggage and put my hat on more properly. "Not busy anymore. You actually have time to come to France with me. He lowered his eyes to look at me and chuckled. I came here because I wanted to be with you. I pushed him gently and scolded him. There's no need to watch me so closely. I won't run away. The gold-rimmed glasses swayed lightly in front of my eyes, but before I could say anything, I was interrupted by a sudden voice. There is a precedent for Miss Sang running away. I looked in the direction of the voice and met Pei Yenxing's gloomy eyes. He was much thinner than he was 3 years ago. His pupils were dilated, the area around his eyes was dark, his face was pale, and he seemed to be in a very bad mental state. I've been looking for you. He wanted to touch me, but pulled his hand back, his voice shaking. I went to Shenzhen countless times, but I didn't see you once. Do you really not want to see me so much? I tilted my head to look at him, my tone flat. Don't flatter yourself, I have my own career. Shenheng frowned and said politely, Mr. Pei, we have something else to do, so we'll leave first. He took my hand and was about to leave past Pei Yangxing. Pei Yangxing stopped in front of us and stared at me. You have another man by your side. No, I don't agree. Sang Wn. I don't agree. Shenheng protected me behind him, looking unhappy. Mr. Pei. We don't have time to make trouble with you. Please leave. I rolled my eyes at Pei Yangxing behind him. Who do you think you are? It's not your turn to comment on who's standing next to me. Pei Yangxing took 2 steps back, as if he had suffered a major blow. I've been looking for you, in the past 3 years. I have traveled to Shenzhen hundreds of times, just hoping to have a few words with you, even though I knew you teamed up with your brother to deceive me. I still softened my heart because I love you. I waited for 3 years at the foot of Sang's building, begging for a chance to see you, but you always said no. You took advantage of my love and guilt for you and hurt me repeatedly. What was our previous relationship worth? His remarks made my ears hurt. You are narcissistic. Your feelings to me are bullshit. Shenheng didn't say anything this time. He just walked up and kicked Pei Yangxing. Mr. Pei. Please don't harass other people's girlfriends. Pei Yangxing knelt on one knee on the ground with an unwilling expression. Girlfriend? How long has he been here? Can it compare to our 5 years? Sang Wn. Do you dare to say that you have completely lost your feelings for me? I have no big words in my heart. What a piece of rubbish. Shenheng kicked again, and Pei Yangxing fell to his knees. I waved my hand, signaling the bodyguard next to me to take Pei Yangxing away. And Shenheng and I quickly left. Even though we walked a long way, I still admired Shenheng's 2 kicks. Nice legs. Shenheng looked at my thumbs up, reached out and held my hand, and sighed softly. Wanwan, what's wrong? I looked up at him. I haven't even seen you when you were 20 years old. He held me tightly and said firmly, how about I find someone to do him? During the few days I was in France, I didn't meet Pei Yangxing again. Looking at Shenheng who was cutting fruit for me by the window, I asked him jokingly, Mr. Shen, did you really hire someone to beat him to death? Wanwan, beating someone to death is against the law. He shook the fruit knife in his hand, his deep voice lacking emotion. I just gave him something to do. I lay on the sofa and watched Shenheng place dinner and fruit in front of me. The fingers are slender, with distinct joints, white but strong. A pair of good hands playing the piano. I remember that many years ago, these hands held my hand and we ran wildly in the garden. Shenheng and I were childhood sweethearts, but we had less contact after he went abroad at the age of 15. He suddenly returned to China 3 years ago. The Shen family is wealthy and powerful, and they have a son named Shenheng who is determined to study medicine. The world-class orthopedic surgeon that Pei Yangxing is looking for is his teacher. How are you doing, teacher? He is in good health and can eat 3 bowls of rice in 1 meal. He has not been to France for a long time. I plan to go see him tomorrow. When Shenheng said this, he picked out all the chopped green onions and coriander in my bowl. He always remembers what I don't like to eat. It just so happens that the designer has already made the contact. I'll go with you tomorrow. Shenheng put a straw in the milk tea and handed it to me. He smiled and said, okay. I saw a glimpse of cunning in his eyes. It was gone before I could investigate further. It was only when I arrived at his teacher's house the next day that I realized what it was. Shenheng's teacher, Yuad, was a very kind and talkative old man. He was in good spirits and welcomed us warmly when he saw us. You're here. Shunheng put the gift on the table and said politely, I have been busy these past 2 years and haven't come to see you for a long time. Yuad glanced at him, then turned to look at me and smiled. Miss Sang Won, right, he has mentioned you many times. You are so beautiful. No wonder he ran away without saying a word 3 years ago. I curled my eyes and said, you're too kind. In a place where no one could see, I pinched Shunheng quietly and asked him in a whisper, 3 years ago, you said that it was the Shun family that asked you to return to China. Ewald was not young, but he had very good ears. He lied to you. He said he was going back to look for someone, and the next second he got on the plane. Shunheng had a calm face, but his ears turned red. Teacher, please give me some face. I nudged him with my knee and lifted his chin with my fingertips. When will you return home? Shunheng's eyes darkened and he held my hand. The day you left Qingcheng, when he received a call from Sang Chuan, he left everything in France and returned to China without saying a word. But I didn't see you in Shenzhen. And later I went abroad. I pretended to be embarrassed. Shunheng kissed my fingertips lightly, his expression affectionate and gentle. I've waited 10 years, and I still care about 2 months. Yuad laughed beside him. It's still good to be young. Heng has waited for 10 years and finally waited for you. After this incident, I was the one who was blushing, looking at Shunheng's expression. I felt dissatisfied and wanted to tease him back. 10 years of waiting for someone. Shunheng, you didn't like me when you were a child, did you? Unexpectedly, he was not shy at all, but was very frank. Yes, when you were 5, you fell down while climbing a tree. When you were 8, you choked when you fell into the water. When you were 10, you injured your hand while playing the violin. When you were 15, you sprained your ankle while dancing. I remember everything. I knew you when I was 5, I liked you, and when I was 15, I decided to study medicine abroad in the hope that I could take good care of you as soon as I got you. Wanwan, my love will stand the test of time. I nudged him and whispered, the teacher is still here. You had cracked melon seeds and drank Coke from time to time. It's okay, Miss Sang, I'm used to it. When Heng was studying with me before, he often mentioned your name. Now that I have you, you must show off in front of me. France is a romantic place, and love should be expressed openly. The teacher is right. Somewhere in my heart felt warm. The day I returned to Shenzhen from abroad, Shunheng appeared downstairs at Sang's building. He didn't ask anything and only talked about our childhood. It turned out that he had been waiting for me for 2 months. Why didn't you tell me you loved me earlier? I remember we went to college in the same city. Shunheng glanced at me and said faintly, I said it, but someone didn't hear it and said that I, a medical student, was so romantic. I shut up. Yuad rambled on and on. Heng has always been quite lonely and has few friends. I am very happy to see him like this today. Before I could say anything, Shunheng took out an invitation from his coat pocket. Teacher, you can be happier. Ewald and I wondered at the same time. Shunheng cleared his throat and pointed at the invitation seriously. We are getting engaged. Edward's eyes narrowed into slits as he smiled. Okay, let's get engaged. Someone will take care of this guy as soon as he gets engaged. I clearly saw these words in Yuad's eyes. The corners of my mouth twitched twice, and then I turned Shunheng's head and said, there is still a month before the engagement party. Why are you carrying this thing with you? Shunheng blinked, and his eyelashes made my palm itchy. Wanwan, I prepared your engagement invitation 10 years ago. I saw Pei Yangxing again after I returned to China, in Shijianju's conference room. He was wearing a well-fitting suit and talking to me about cooperation. I will not refuse the money offered to me. He was calm and collected, and we engaged in a back-and-forth game of chess at the conference table. After finally finalizing the cooperation plan, we shook hands politely. Pei Yangxing looked solemn and suddenly said, Sang Won, how about I give Wanxing to you directly? I withdrew my hand. My brother actually holds 34% of the shares. It's the same for any of us in Wanxing. If you have nothing else to do, please go back, Mr. Pei. He seemed to want to say something else when Shunheng pushed the door open and walked in. Wanwan, the restaurant has been booked, let's go. Before leaving, he looked back at Pei Yangxing without any emotion, perhaps in his eyes. Pei Yangxing and he are not in the same league at all. My engagement party with Shunheng is no secret. Pei Yangxing received the news on the same night that I reached the cooperation agreement. He is completely crazy. From then on, he often ran to the Sang building and bet the whole night that I would come back. I stood on the top floor, looking down at the Mercedes-Benz that was still driving despite the heavy rain, and smiled. I won't give up until I reach the Yellow River. A new message popped up on my hand, sent from Pei Yangxing. Sang WN, I know you are here. I am betting the entire company on this, hoping that we can go back to the way we were before. Can you have pity on me and give me a chance? Shun Heng hugged me from behind, deleted the message, and rested his head on my neck. I didn't stop him and grabbed his tie on the front and played with it. When do we start? He asked. I blew into his ear and said, soon. My brother snapped his fingers from behind and said in a somewhat rude tone, the plan is ready, my dear sister. Stop flirting here and come over to take a look. He was leaning lazily against the door, a document loosely held in his hands. I let go of Shun Heng's hand and said excitedly, brother, you're here. My brother rubbed my head and said, that's right. I started preparing as soon as I received your call. I came to see you as soon as I finished it. Shun Heng supported me from the side to prevent me from falling in my high heels, but he was helpless. Wanwan, you've forgotten your boyfriend for your career. I took the document and kissed him on the cheek. I haven't forgotten. My brother said it was an eyesore and took several steps back. I read it carefully and asked my brother, is there no problem with Dad and the board of directors? My brother patted his chest and assured, everyone has been notified. Dad said that you have full control over your things and they won't ask about it. The cell phone next to him kept ringing. After Shun Heng looked at the sender, he naturally deleted all the messages. I leaned back on the sofa. Where is Wanxing? My brother crossed his legs and gloated, it's all right. That idiot thought he could get you to come back by mortgaging the entire company. By the way, when do you plan to release this document? I raised my eyebrows and was about to speak. On the day of the engagement, Shun Heng and I said this in unison. After saying that, we looked at each other and smiled. My brother couldn't help but clap his hands. Young Master Shun is a man of few talents. I thought you were a gentleman, but your methods are comparable to my sister's. You are so sinister. Shun Heng accepted it humbly, but retorted softly, brother, Wanwan is obviously very kind. The day of the engagement party, the guests are full. I wore a warm and flamboyant red dress and entered the venue holding Shun Heng's hand. Both the Shun and Sang families are century-old wealthy families, so the marriage between the two families is naturally unprecedented. Many reporters came to the scene, and Pei Yangxing sneaked in at this time. When I saw him in the crowd, Shun Heng and I looked at each other and smiled. The fish is coming. Shun Heng put his arms around my waist and we danced amid everyone's celebration. When it turned around, I saw Pei Yangxing's clenched fists. He rushed forward regardless, his eyes red and mad. Sang WN, I will give you everything I have, including WN Sheng. Will you forgive me? I pretended not to see him, closed my eyes, and kissed Shun Heng. The banquet venue immediately erupted in loud cheers. Thank you all for coming together to witness Mr. Shun Heng and I's engagement party. After saying that, I seemed to have just noticed Pei Yangxing, and leaned into Shun Heng's arms, letting him kiss the corner of my eyes gently. Why is Mr. Pei here? I didn't invite you. Pei Yangxing was completely stunned. The alarm clock went blank, and his body trembled constantly. Sang WN, do you really not want me anymore? I have already negotiated with the board of directors. And your brother also said that as long as I give you Wanxing, you can let me go back to the past. Shun Heng made no secret of his sarcasm. Mr. Pei, don't be so self-indulgent. My brother sat on the sofa and glared at him evilly. You really think you are a piece of cake, and you are still thinking about my sister. Looking at Pei Yangxing's confused expression, I slowly took a step forward. I almost forgot that President Pei also prepared a valuable gift for me today. I took out the document from a few days ago and revealed my brother's signature at the bottom. The board of directors of Wanxing Group has unanimously agreed that Sang will officially acquire Wanxing Group. President Pei, the company doesn't need you, you should pack up and leave. Wanxing was founded by me, and I contributed much more than Pei Yangxing. My things, of course I have to take them back. Pei Yangxing could no longer hold on and fell to the ground, shouting in despair, "Sang Wn, what can you do to make me forgive you? You drove Song Huayang away. Made your brother the largest shareholder, and now you teamed up with others to acquire Sang Corporation and told me to get out. All of this is your revenge against me." I squatted down, tapped his face with the acquisition contract, and smiled harmlessly. "Yeah, I'm just taking revenge on you. I am a person who will never give up anything, and I will get it back tenfold or 100-fold. Why do you think Wanxing has done so well in the past 3 years? Of course. It's because they fattened it up before eating it." Shenheng helped me up and gently put his arm around my shoulders. "Wanwan's personality is excellent. Some people are afraid of me because of my temper, but some people love me more because of my character. I was really blind before." Seeing Pei Yangxing looking distraught as if his entire family had died, I ordered the bodyguards to throw him out. The banquet was still going on, and no one was disappointed by Pei Yangxing's little incident. I grabbed Shenheng's sleeve and said, "Will you sing a song with me?" Shenheng said, "Okay." There was a piano at the banquet, and I took the violin that I had been carrying with me from the waiter, played String Serenade in G major with Shenheng, meaning, get rid of the haze of yesterday and embrace a bright future.